one of the things I like to talk about is video and how you can incorporate video in your projects. So I have a couple examples here, and the one cool thing you can do with video is actually create full screen video, and the video itself can become a background. So here I have some video that was taken at my day job, basically. So I was using like a red camera, this really high-end camera. Here's the video, but you can see that it's actually part of the web page. Like if I make the page bigger or smaller, it kind of stays where it's at. And let's see, and then I have another example. And in this example, you actually can see the video scaling. And not only that, I have like an overlay, like putting an overlay on top of it, on top of the video. And this overlay actually has a pause button. So you can actually pause and play the video. But what you can do is you can put anything on top of this. So you can put a menu, you can put images, whatever you want. And it's actually a pretty simple process. So I have just a little presentation to cover that kind of goes over this. You have a video tag. So that's all it is. So the video tag, and this is a good thing to talk about since you brought it up, Jason. Before the video tag, you could only really watch video using something like Flash. So you needed that Flash plugin. So Flash was actually very popular as a means to just show video. But now with HTML5, the video tag makes it easy and you don't need a plugin. So with HTML5, that idea of using a separate plugin where you come to my website and if you see this playing, previous to HTML5, if you didn't have the Flash plugin, you wouldn't see this. So you wouldn't see it at all. But now it's standard. So it's standard. I kind of included this in here, browser support for the video tag. And this is not just for the video tag itself, but this website called Can I Use is basically looking through all the browsers and trying to make sure that that tag is something that is still being used in a particular browser. So if I go to this, you can actually ask, can I use video? And here is video element. And this chart is showing you all the browsers that are out there. And it's basically telling you with the most recent version, if it can be used. So if you look at Internet Explorer version 6 through 8, no, it can't be used. But basically all the browsers that are popular now, Firefox, Chrome, Safari, and Edge. Edge is considered the Microsoft's alternative to Internet Explorer. All the browsers that we use now basically will use this tag. This is a good site, by the way, if you're ever curious about something and you're trying to figure out if it can be used. You can just ask this question, can it be used? So like here's a property for Flexbox that is not supported. So there's always these new properties that are coming out for CSS as well. So it's a constantly growing area in terms of development. And this is always a good place to check if that property is being used. So I just put that in there. I think when I first gave this presentation on video, it still wasn't that accessible to all the browsers, but it's a good tool to use anyways. So the code is pretty simple. Oops. So it's just a video tag, and then you have several different attributes for the tag. You have standard height and width. You have controls, which will basically give you your playhead. Then you have other tags or other attributes such as muted and a few more, which I'm going to go through. So first, and this is the way it works. Basically, you have your source. So you have this source tag, and this is basically looking for that file that you have for the video. So here it's an MP4. Then you have the type, and you're just saying, okay, what type of video is this? It's an MP4, so it's pretty straightforward. You have two sources in here, because what you can do is you can have an alternative file format. Just in case MP4 doesn't work, here's this alternative file format called .ogg. But again, nowadays, every browser can, most modern browsers will be able to understand what the MP4 is, and you don't really need this as a fallback. So this is another format that's been popular for videos on the web, but you don't necessarily need it. MP4 is really popular. So in terms of outputting a video, and I can kind of show you some of this, MP4 is probably one of the most popular formats out there, but you also have .omv, that's QuickTime. So there's other formats out there, but MP4 is going to be one of the most popular ones. And you can actually make an MP4 in Photoshop pretty easily. And actually, I'm going to ask you guys, everybody here has a smartphone, right? Everybody should have like a smartphone. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're on video right now anyways. So
what is wrong with you, Mom?
the easiest thing you can do is just go out with your phone, especially today, it's beautiful out. Go out with your phone, take a little bit of video, and then upload it, you know, do a file share to your computer, and then use this video tag to actually put it into your webpage. And I know everybody's working on the gallery assignment right now, the artist gallery assignment. If you find some way to incorporate this into your assignment, I'll give you guys extra credit. So if you want some extra credit, incorporate a little bit of video into your assignment.
That's it?
Yeah. 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 I mean, it takes some work, right? Because you have to actually go outside and take some video. It's kind of cool, actually, though. I mean, just going outside and taking video of like the tree, like blowing in the wind, the grass, maybe there's a bird or something. Just that little clip of video, when it's huge on the screen and you have text behind, on top of it, it has a really cool look to it. So yeah, if you want to do that, some extra credit. So this is pretty simple too. And it's basically, the hierarchy is you have the parent video tag with the child, which is the source tag, and that's it. So I'll show you what this looks like, though. This is not the full screen effect. I just want to go over the attributes. So controls right here, this attribute that's in red, that just basically creates your play, pause, and volume that you usually see when you see an embedded video. The source element, this allows you to specify the video, and like you saw, you could specify an alternative video, which is that OGG format, but you really don't have to do that. And the text that's between the video tag will only be displayed in browsers that don't support the video. But again, every browser out there is probably going to support video now. So what this is basically saying is, if you add text here saying, you know, video cannot be played on this browser, if this video cannot be played on that browser, then they'll see the text and they'll understand, oh, well, there was a video there and it can't be played. I should probably upgrade my browser or get the latest version. You can actually include that in the text. Please update to the latest version of your browser. So there's another attribute in here called autoplay, and that's a kind of can be a frustrating attribute for some people because the video just plays automatically. Now this is something that you'd want to do if you're doing the full screen option because it's part of the effect. But if you have like a gallery of videos, you probably don't want to do that. You probably want to have controls in there to give the person the option to hit the playhead, the play little triangle, play triangle to play that video. And you see here, this says your browser does not support the video tag. That's that text I'm talking about that you can add as a precaution. Oh, here I'm just mentioning this OGG file format. So in the example, I have it listed, but you don't need to use it. It's just an older file format that acts as a container for multiple types of videos. And the thing about that format is it's not something that is part of like Adobe software. So if you want to export an OGG file, you actually have to use a converter. So you would actually take your MP4 and you would convert it. And here's a site. There's all these converter sites out there to do that. And let's see. I think controls attribute, I mentioned that already. So that creates your play and pause button. There's a loop attribute that the video will play over and over again. So this is something too, if you do the full screen video, this is something that you'll want. And then a muted attribute, the muted attribute is good as well, because if you have any sound on that video, you'll want to make sure that you mute it, especially if it's full screen. Muting the video is a nice thing to do for people coming to the site, because it ensures that they don't get blasted by sound if they have their speakers up. So adding muted is nice as well. And then the last thing is this poster attribute. And what poster is basically an image that you can include in the video tag. So if the video is not downloading, and if it's a big video, they'll see an image first while the video is downloading. So that's something that you can add too, but most connections now will let you download that video without a problem. So that's just going over the video tag. So let me show you some of that video tag in action. So here in brackets, let me find brackets. So in this simple example, so this is the video tag, and I can kind of run through the different attributes here with you. Just kind of clean it up. So very simple, HTML, no CSS, just the video tag here and the source tag. Here is the width and height, so that's the size that I want to show. Here's the source for the video, and here's this alternative.ogg format. The browser, though, is not looking at this at all. It's just looking at this first one. If this didn't play, it would find this one and play this one instead. So let me just show you what it is. So this is it right here. So 320 by 240 is the size, and you have your playhead, and that's like really loud. So I'm just gonna. And that's it. So it's using controls, but we can play with these attributes. So if I say controls, but I say autoplay, and should let me see something here. Oops. So for some reason, autoplay is not working. So let me. Oh, hold on. I gotta close the door. So that's not working. Hold on one second. Let me see. Let me add it again. Get to it. So yeah, that's not working. So anyways, it should work. I don't know why it's not, but the other thing to add would be loop. So you can add loop, and you can add muted. Oh, okay, so look, now it's actually working. So let me, okay, so it looks like autoplay is working now. So adding loop and muted, the other thing it's doing is it's hiding that control bar, and it's automatically turning off the sound. So let me get rid of muted. That's weird that muted for some reason makes the autoplay work. I don't know why, that's weird, but yeah, I take autoplay. It's like autoplay and muted like to work together. Do you guys see that? So, oops. Felicia, do you have a question? I see a raised hand over there.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about, you were talking about the Flash and how I guess it's the new system that is not necessarily needing it, because I know that Google is going to stop using Flash altogether.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was just wondering how that's going to affect websites.
Well, any website that uses the Flash plugin will have a.
So everybody's having to upgrade to the new system?
No, because like for instance, this website right here, it doesn't use Flash, right? So there's no Flash,
right?
So it'll work just fine. So
okay.
Any website that used Flash in the past will basically won't work. And there are developers out there who used to design whole sites in Flash, and they're actually pretty cool, like really cool interactive type experiences. But they just won't work anymore. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, Google is finally saying, we're totally discontinuing it. That's it.
And Animate, if you do things in Animate, Google will be able to run that. Is that correct?
Yeah, but the difference is that when you export it from Animate, it's exporting a movie. It's actually exporting an MP4 file, which is kind of like the most popular video format. Yeah. So, so it's going to take all of your animation and turn it into a movie. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's how Adobe is ensuring that their initial software, which is called Flash, can still be used, and it's still a great tool actually. So yeah, you can do a lot. But yeah, so yeah, Flash is pretty much gone, and nobody's going to use it anymore. So they'll use Animate, but they won't export the .swf file that was a Flash file.
Okay.
But yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I just wanted to show you a video. I'm going to get rid of that OGG because it doesn't really matter. It's pretty simple actually to use. Now the full screen examples are doing a couple things. So let me just go through this full screen example real quick. And all this is doing is it's creating, it's using position fixed for the video. And that's it. So if you create a style, use a style sheet, create a style for the video. Here, it's a ID of video BG. So here is that video ID of BG right here, and it's being applied to the video tag. So the video tag again is the parent, and you just apply a fixed position to that parent, and then you can make that video. And it's actually two things though. It's the fixed position here, and this is what this is doing. It's looking at the HTML itself and using this VW. So this is your view. It's 100% of the view width and 100% of the view height as well. So it's assuring that the video fills 100% of the viewable space in your screen. And then it's giving it a z-index of -1. And the reason you do that is so you can ensure that the video is always in the background. So here is a couple additional things too that I kind of hid. So these media tags are kind of doing what Bootstrap does. So this is something we'll talk about more, but the @media tag is basically looking at a couple things. It's looking at the screen ratio. So when your screen has a certain ratio, it's going to actually ensure the video is following like a similar ratio by using this height of auto. And then this max width down here, what it's doing is it's looking for everything that's anything that's below this number. This display set to none will basically make the video go away. So if I have this max width under 767 pixels and I drag my window to have it under 767 pixels, the video goes away. And they're including that because it's their way of saying video is for desktop only. If I'm on a tablet, which is going to be less than 767, let's not show that video. There's actually what I should have added here with this JPEG. So I didn't add it into my folder where the index.html is, but this is an image. So the other thing that would happen is that this image would appear. So you have an image that would appear. So it's another thing that you can have with that video is if it's under 767, not only does the video go away, but instead you see an image. And then in this example, it's a little bit more in depth. So it's basically the same idea though. You have your video tag, and then you have your source. The video tag has an ID set to my video. So again, it has that fixed position. And then the source, yeah, so you have that fixed position, but then you have some information down below that has this content class, and that has a fixed position too. And so when you look at this one, what they're doing is creating this bar that's set down below, and then it has an opacity set to it as well, which is a cool effect. To kind of, sometimes they call it like ghosting, especially in print where you have a box with a lower opacity so you can see the type. And then they created this little pause button. And the pause button is a bunch of JavaScript code. So the pause button is looking for anything, and this gets more complicated, but I'll include this. I'll include the code. I'll send you guys the code. And basically you can just cut and paste the code. But that pause, that script has basically a pause and play function. So you can control the background video through JavaScript. So that's kind of a nice little feature. It's not that complicated. You know, it's using this if statement to say if the video is playing, then if you click on that button, it will pause. And if the video is paused, if you click on that button, it will play.